Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining the show. Hopefully, everybody's having a good week. And we've got Tyler, the Antenna Man, on the show today. He's returned to the show. He was on here, 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, something like that. Thanks for coming on. For you guys that may not know who Tyler is phenomenal, has phenomenal knowledge about antennas and over the air. How to get channels in your local area, how to optimize that, how to get these things. It is a pleasure to have him on here. I love people that have a ton of knowledge. I'm not going to roll through all the people that are, I normally do like a roll call who's on here. And I know I see Rojas's people have rolling in here. So, hey, everybody, we'll talk a little bit more as we get to it. If you guys have questions, post on the side. I will do my best to have Tyler or myself answer those questions. And thanks, Tyler, for coming on, and thanks for trying to share some of your knowledge with us.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you for having me on here, and I definitely look forward to continuing to be a guest on your show every so often. I just get so busy with my channel that I'm not able to do it as often as I'd like.
All good. I mean, you've got a channel. This guy, I mean, you're pulling in, I think he's got like 117,000 subscribers, full-time doing this. For the people that may have not have been watching the first show you were on, a little background of like how you got into this, because you're just not some general guy just to said, hey, I'm going to create a channel on antennas and stuff.
Yeah, I've actually been messing around with antennas since I was 5 years old. My fascination with over-the-air TV never really died. I've always been passionate about it. Growing up, I had, kids played video games. I played with TV sets and little portable battery-powered TV sets. I'd bring to various locations and try different antennas to see how well they'd come in. And even in high school, I had a cell phone with a built-in analog tuner at the time. So I was probably one of the only people in the United States in high school with a TV tuner on their phone. And yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, and it's just because I've done so many experiments with the antennas. I've set them up. I've been in a lot of crazy situations that I've kind of ironed out some of the flaws of antennas and what you need to do to get as many channels as possible. Of course, there's not a one scenario for everyone, but I try my best to kind of, basically make it easy for people to understand.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say you've been messing with antennas since you were 5. Me too, because I was the antenna rotator in my family back in the day. It was my job to go over to the rabbit ears, and my dad knew that I knew what direction he wanted a certain channel, so I knew this antenna had to be this way. This went up. Turn the dial to so and so. Stretch the aluminum foil. So yeah, I was doing the antenna. My dad would be like, yeah, get that channel 4 in. Yeah, we need to watch channel 4. And I knew what I needed to do. So it's funny when you say messing with antennas. Yeah, that was my job as a kid. We were the remote and the antenna, or the antenna adjuster, I guess. So so you've been doing this, and as you said, there's not a one fix for everyone. And a lot of times people, if you guys want to take a look, in the show notes, I have links to his Facebook, his YouTube page, his Amazon page. I will post more of those on the chat over here for you guys. But in your videos, I mean, you give a lot of information, pros and cons to each thing, to tell, hey, this is good for these reasons and this is bad for these reasons. And I'll use an example. I had this one right here. Hold on a second. So I'll let you tell me. So is this good or bad? Hold on a second. Let me see here. Oh, not that one. No, not that one. Where did it go?
You have the wrong picture selected, so it's on there. I think if you're showing the one with the built-in rotator, it's just the wrong picture, and the Amazon page is selected. Yeah,
because just a second ago I was looking at the page and I'm like, that was there. That was the right page, right? Because I had it saved. But there, for folks that have the cheap antenna, the one with the rotator built into it, and people tend to think that this is the one to get. Let's see. I think this picture, this one picture. Let me try that again. So we'll pop up. Super. This is called the supersonic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of times when people say, I'm going to get the most perfect antenna. How many of these do I see around the neighborhood? You know, and these are not suggested for people that want to have a decent signal.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the most popular antenna out there, mainly due to some crazy stuff going on with Amazon and China, to the point that this antenna is coming up multiple times when you search HD antenna on Amazon. And it's the same antenna, whether it's made by Supersonic or Ping Bing Ding or Boost Waves or ON. They even had it at Walmart. And from a design standpoint, like, it's not that it's the absolute worst antenna. It's definitely not a good one. It's just made very cheap, and the built-in preamp on it is known to fail. The rotator is known to fail. And a lot of people with this model will buy it, and then they'll notice one day the channels aren't coming in, and they don't know what happened. That means the internal amplifier on it went. And when it fails, it's not like, you just have a regular antenna connected. It's almost as if the antenna is not even connected, because most amplifiers built into antennas don't have powerless pass-through. What that means is if you unplug the power inserter, or if the amplifier fails, you pretty much lose all your reception. So it's not uncommon for people with that antenna model to be replacing it every few years, and that's very dangerous. Setting up an antenna should be a once-and-done thing. You shouldn't have to keep going up and adjusting it, because it's pretty dangerous to go on a roof in the first place.
Yeah. And so you said a preamp, and so some people may not be familiar with what a preamp is, and a preamp can help to boost your signal gain. Am I right on that?
You're correct. Now, a preamplifier, its main purpose is to put gain up at the antenna to make up for signal loss in a long cable. In some situations, it can bring in more channels if the noise floor, if it lowers the noise floor on the TV set you're watching. Now, unfortunately, it won't make a difference if you have a junk antenna. So I know a lot of people that would go out and buy a preamp and put it on a junk antenna and be like, oh, the preamp didn't work. It's not that the preamp didn't work. It was that the preamp is only going to make a usable signal continue to be usable on a long cable run. If you don't have a usable signal in the first place on the antenna, you're adding in a preamp is not going to help. Now, I probably just contradicted myself a few times, but at the root of it, a preamp can improve your reception if you have a very long cable run, or if you're connecting multiple TV sets and the signals are weak. But it won't help if the issue is that you don't have the good antenna in the first place.
Right. You've got to have a good signal to be able to improve the signal. So if you've got very, very low signal, it's not going to help. This is one that I had that actually was attached to the channel master I have, and this preamp. This one has the where you can turn it a lower or a higher gain on it. Mm-hmm. So you're able to. And I got this when I got my antenna. It came with the package and all. It didn't help a whole lot, because my channels were strong enough that even when I took this off, it didn't hurt it. I know that some people have the preamp, and on my, I had the Moo Wave. Was it Moo Wave that I had? But Mohu? It had a little small one. it was like a little bitty brick, and the power went into it, and it helped to connect or get you a little bit better signal, improve some of the pixels and stuff. So it can help, but it's not going to fix it if you're using a crappy antenna, like you said. And with those, with that one that looks like a laser gun, that one, I've seen numerous of my neighbors with them, and you see the plastic pieces falling off of it, and I'm thinking, I wonder how many channels they're even picking up right now. I mean, it's just, I want to say probably none, but I don't want to ask them, say, hey, how bad is that TV, or how bad is that antenna?
I found that antenna will pick up channels. Like, it's not that it won't pick up channels. It'll pick up channels, but the preamp on it's pretty noisy, and it can make reception worse. So people who have that antenna model, what they're probably getting is unreliable over-the-air reception. They think that's just the way it is. They have this special HD antenna, and that's just the way it is. It's unreliable. The wind blows, they lose the signal. I've set up antennas in a lot of situations. I've lived in 4 or 5 different locations, including the area where cable was invented. And the thing is, you should not be experiencing consistent dropouts as long as you have a good signal. Even 80 miles from a broadcast tower, a setup of mine gets reliable reception, because the key is to get the good antenna. Like, if you're having dropouts every few minutes, or some channels just don't even come in, that's an issue with the antenna. Like, that's not normal. You shouldn't be having that problem with an antenna.
I have a question, and I've seen this posted in some of my other groups. Noise, and I don't mean noise as in you got noisy neighbors, but sometimes signal noise or noise from other things. And I've heard certain a refrigerator or a microwave or some other things, as well as cell phone towers, I've heard can create noise. Any information on that or insight?
So you're talking about kind of 2 separate things. There's noise, which kind of relates to static, the noise floor, and then there's interference. So LTE, if you live near a cell tower, that can cause LTE interference, which I guess you can consider noise, but it's mainly interference. Noise can be produced by a lot of objects, interference, LED lights, and even sometimes a preamp. If you have signals that are kind of just barely there, and if they're at the exact right spot where they're just coming into your TV set, and you add an amplifier that increases the noise floor by 2 decibels, that can actually wipe out your stations. I've had that happen a few times where I'm in a rural location, and a perfectly fine preamp I put on the antenna increases the noise floor and makes it so they no longer come in. Now, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And that has a lot to do with noise and the noise floor. There's pretty much a level. Let's say it's right here. This is a level you need to decode a signal. And if this is a signal, and you add an amplifier and it increases the noise to here, you're not going to get it anymore.
Okay. I saw where Sandy posted over here. She's in Michigan. Antenna in the attic, and it signals fine here, and with 2 TVs. And again, location, as well as the location, length of your wire, and I would think antenna, the type of antenna, between those 3 things would affects if you're going to get a good signal or a bad signal, and especially which channels you're getting the signal for.
Yeah, now with an attic setup, it's all about it's about the specific location in the attic as well. Attics are known to have a lot of hot and cold spots. So I've set up antennas in the attic, and I may put the antenna here, and it's not getting channel 3, and I put it here, and it's not getting channel 6, and I have to keep moving around spots until I find the best spot possible to get as many channels. That usually happens in a moderate signal area. In a strong signal area, it's not a problem. Just putting the antenna in a spot, putting a 2-way splitter on it should be fine, as long as you're using a good quality cable. It's just a lot of times people go wrong getting a cheap cable, or they need a preamp and they don't use one. They use the wrong antenna. Good coax is important. Smokey Johnson, that's very true. I cannot tell you where I've gotten people that would tell me, oh, I got this antenna, it's not working well. And I run a reception report, and I say, well, that antenna is adequate for your area. What cable are you using? Did you just buy it from Walmart, the cheapest one? And a lot of cables that come with the junk antennas that people would buy and leave it behind, those don't work well as well. So you want a quality RG6, at the very least RG6 dual shield or RG6 quad shield. You don't want to just look up RG6 because sometimes some companies will label a cable as RG6 and it just not have good shielding at all. You want to make sure it's quad shield, preferably copper, solid copper, but copper clad steel will be okay as long as you're not using the preamp.
Okay. All right. And Vaping Vessel says, yeah, good quality wiring connections. And that is key because the signal has to go from your antenna, wherever it's on top of your house, or to work its way there. And the longer that wire, it just creates more problem. And the problem gets to your TV and you're not getting a good thing. All right. Patty D asks, what type of antennas are we, I guess, to use? All right. So this is a question, Patty, that it's difficult that you can't really answer it. It isn't all in one because it depends on your location and what type of reception you're able to get, and then what channels you're wanting to get. I mean, am I right, Tyler? I mean, because it depends on what channels you want.
There's a way to at least kind of answer a question. Now, a lot of people think they need a special HD digital antenna. And I say this a million times, and if anyone's watching me from my channel, they know what I'm about to say. There's no such thing as an HD or digital antenna. They're just marketing keywords antenna companies use, a lot of them originally from China, to kind of confuse people into thinking that they need a special HD antenna because the signals are digital. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. The fact that they're HD picture has nothing to do with the antenna. One thing, Patty, you want to make sure you have a combo antenna that's capable with both VHF and UHF. And this is also problematic too, because sometimes these companies from China will just say the VHF, UHF capable and it not have VHF elements. So you kind of want an antenna that looks like a classic antenna. You want to have like a long element coming off, like rabbit ears. That represents a VHF element, and nearly every market in the United States has a VHF TV station that broadcasts on channels 2 through 13. Lower frequencies require longer elements, at least this long for high VHF, and then a complete arm's length, 2 arms length for low VHF. And if you have a small flat antenna this big, it's not that length, and it's not going to reliably pick up the VHF channels. So in general, you also want to stick to the name brands. You don't want to ping, bing, ding. And these companies you don't understand, they're obviously not specializing in antennas. They're just cheap companies that mass produce these pieces of junk. You want to stick with the main companies I've been recommending that make good antennas are Channel Master, Winegard, RCA, Televes, and Antennas Direct. There might be one I forgot about, but those are the main companies you want to stick with. And you may see, this antenna is $100 and I can get one for $20. Don't bargain hunt when it comes to an antenna. This is the one investment you're doing that will have you be free from cable forever. If you go cheap, you're going to end up spending more money on junk that doesn't work. In the meantime, still have a cable bill. It's the one investment. It's like if you buy a house, you don't want to use like a freaking, not a tin roof, but a tarp on your roof. You want a real roof. So don't be cheap the first time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times people will, and I'm guilty of bargain hunting or bargain shopping when I'm looking for certain items. I'm looking here, looking there, and when you do that, you could possibly put yourself into that first antenna. Well, someone's like, well, that's only $29. Sure, it's $29. Well, then, but you're gonna spend it again, and you're gonna spend it again, and like for me, I bought the Channel Master, and you know what? It was a one-time investment, as you said. Because I'm going to have it for, I don't know, forever, however long I'm alive, or, it's going to quality. It's going to, so it's like for you guys that watch my channel on a regular basis. And I say, you know what, if you're going to buy it, these cheap Chinese boxes, sure, they're cheaper and they're going to last a little while. Maybe they last you a year, maybe 2 years. You buy a name brand something, you buy an NVIDIA Shield, or you buy the Amazon Fire Sticks, even though the old ones are crap. But if you buy a newer one, their quality, they're going to last. So invest a little bit and you won't spend it over and over. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I saw that Eddie asked about in the mountain areas. Now, again, mountain areas location is real important with that, Eddie. What would you with Tyler? Because first of all, if someone, let's say that someone's wanting to go to over the air. They want to get rid of cable TV so they can watch their local channels. What would be some of the steps that you would suggest for someone that's deciding to get into that?
Well, I'll first answer Eddie's question, a few other questions I saw. If
Yep,
you're
yep.
in the mountain, you're going to want a traditional looking antenna, a big channel master, one of the biggest ones you can get. Don't go with a small one, because if there's mountains and trees, they're going to affect the signal. And you really need a good antenna to give you as much gain as possible. I saw a few of you ask about flat antennas, including the Mohu Leaf. I'm not saying they're complete trash. I'm just saying they don't work well in most situations. If you're close to the broadcast towers and you have a very strong signal, you may be able to get away with the Mohu Leaf just kind of placed on the wall. What may happen in the long run is you may lose stations during thunderstorms or rain, indicating you're not getting a good signal. I usually don't recommend them, just because I've dealt with a lot of antennas and people with antennas inside, and I notice if you have a flat antenna, if they don't have VHF capability and the signal isn't strong enough, it's not a guarantee it's not going to work. It's not saying that you can't use it, but what it means is you're more likely to have problems compared to if you got an antenna with VHF elements and an outdoor antenna. But let me go back to what you had asked, Todd. Someone who's first getting started, considering cutting the cord, it's a process. The first thing you want to do is you want to look at your specific location and see what kind of reception you have. And two main websites that I've been recommending, I no longer recommend the antennaweb.org. It's not accurate, and it says you'll get no channels, even though you will get channels. This is a good website that Todd's on right now, the FCC DTV reception maps. The only problem with it is it won't list translator stations. So if you happen to be in a rural area that has repeater stations, they may not be listed on this website, but it's a good place to start. And if you type in your address, like what Todd has now, and you see green stations, you can see the little guide towards the top. That represents strong signals. That's borderline. You can possibly use an indoor antenna or a small outdoor antenna. The yellow represents kind of moderate signals. You might be able to get away with a small outdoor antenna, but might need to be medium sized. And then the orange means the signals are pretty weak. You'll definitely need a large outdoor antenna pointed towards the broadcast towers, possibly with a preamp. So that's kind of the best, first time setup scenario, I'd say, is kind of see what you have. And then it gets more complicated in terms of what exact antenna you need based on what you see, because it's not just about colors. There's also, you see VHF and UHF, that also represents the frequencies. And if you have low VHF, that even limits your options even more. Now, Todd's in a unique situation. He's directly between two markets. Most people usually have pretty much all the stations from one direction, but because he has them coming from two directions, there are a few options. It's not often that this happens, but when you're directly between two markets, you can use either a two antenna setup combined. Sometimes that creates problems. You can also use the antenna's direct DBAE, which has two bays that can kind of point in different directions, or you could use a rotator.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things you were talking about, and I think that you were talking about VHF and the VHF and VH. What's it?
VHF and UHF.
Yes. And one of the things you were talking about, what channel that it's on. So let's look at WRAL, which is channel 5 in my area.
More complicated.
Yep. Okay. So it's channel 5, but then we also look at the RF channel, and that's, people say, well, I'm going to need something with a VHF because it's channel 5, and VHF channel 5 has to be going to be a low number. So I got to have something with a long element like you were talking about, because it's VHF, but it's not, because it's actually broadcasting on channel 17, which is above the, what'd you say, 2 through 13?
Yeah, so 2 through 13 is VHF, and they require the longer elements, and then 14 through 36 is a UHF, which is better for the smaller elements. And let me make this clear. I'm not talking about an antenna. I'm talking about the elements on an antenna.
Yes.
So if you're in a weak signal area and you have mostly UHF, and I say small elements, I don't mean a small antenna. I mean small elements on an antenna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things I was going to mention, all right, so we talked about channel 5 on here, and that's coming out on channel 17. And I know I talked to you months or maybe a year back. It's channel 11 for me. Is ABC. It's in the high V, VHF, but it broadcasts on channel 9. So that's why, even though I can pick up channels farther away that are in my UHF band, I was struggling with this one particular channel, even if it was a little closer than some of the other ones, because it was channel 9. And so that was, sometimes you need to pay attention. You've got to know what channels you want to watch, and what channels are on, to have an idea for what antenna would fit your needs. If you're close and they're all in one direction, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt. And the whole, as I said, the reason why they're broadcasting on a different channel than what they use on air is because the frequencies that are left over after the FCC sold a lot of the spectrum, they had to move to different frequencies. But the digital standard allows TV stations to broadcast on, you can see channel 17, but show up as channel 5 on a different, on a TV set. And so it gets confusing about, who's broadcasting where, which is why you got to do your research. Yep. Patty asked, why do the frequencies change and why are you required to rescan? That should be mostly, there's 2 reasons why you've had to run a rescan in the past, and more recently why you might be running rescans. The first is because of the FCC repack. The FCC sold out a big chunk of the UHF spectrum to cell phone companies, forcing TV stations to lower frequencies, which required people to run a rescan. You can see on there the repack. Most of it should be over. But what's happening now is ATSC 3.0 is launching in some areas. And as a result, if one station goes to 3.0, it moves some of the subchannels to another station, which requires a rescan. So that's kind of what it is. I do know some people that will just keep running rescans, hoping to get their channels back. That's not effective. If you have a bad antenna and you just keep running rescans, it might bring them back and they might come and go. But the thing is, that's not the purpose of a rescan. A rescan is supposed to be if a channel is moving frequencies, not if you're just barely getting the signal and you're just kind of playing around. That creates madness, because then you lose a channel and you're like, oh, where's my channel 10? Let me keep running rescans, and it comes back and you keep running rescans and it goes away. That's not the purpose of a rescan.
Well, but to me, that would mean that it's just a weak channel, and dependent on different factors, you're getting the channel because of certain factors. Your TV accepts it, because I know some TVs, it depends on your TV. Some TVs will basically, if the channel comes in a little bit, it says, oh, I'm going to add that to the memory, or I want to save that channel. And then some TVs, if it's not within their parameters, they're set. I know, like my TV, this TV, it's either in or it's out. I don't get hey, this is kind of coming in like a 20% signal or 30. It's either going to be on or not. When it scans, now maybe the wind stops blowing and you pick it back up. And I know, like for me, channel 11, they did a repack. You can see it was back in May, and they did it. I remember them. They broadcasted, hey, we're repacking, we're moving channels. And basically it basically saves to your, mine saves to my TV. I guess if you have a digital box, I guess it would save to it, but it basically kind of remembers that station once it rescans. That's the way my understanding when I was doing my scans, trying to, because a lot of times I would move the antenna a little bit and then do a rescan. And that does make a difference, because my antenna was pointing a different direction to find my sweet spot just by me doing it and doing rescans. Okay, so we got, what was another? All right, so people talk about, you said you need to know your location, what type of channels you're watching, or how far away they are. Anything else would be the next thing that you would suggest them to do?
Well, yeah, as I said, green represents strong signals. It's right there. Moderate, weak signals. It should be pretty self-explanatory. Strong signals, you don't need necessarily large antenna. Moderate, you might need a larger antenna. You might get away with a smaller one. They're kind of in between. And then weak, you need a larger antenna. And then from there, you want to go with name brands. I think I said it earlier here. You don't want to don't buy an antenna based on range. Range means nothing. Antenna companies just put random numbers on antennas saying 100 miles, 150 miles, 200 miles, and that means absolutely nothing. It's about the antenna and the number of elements on the antenna. So for example, I've seen an antenna claiming 45-mile range that has a bunch of elements, looks pretty good. And then I've seen an antenna. Yeah, actually click on outdoor antennas at the bottom. I'll see what I'm talking about. Go right up to the right of the black one in the middle. Yep, that one. So that one is actually kind of it's a decent antenna, but it's only saying 45-mile range. This antenna has worked better than almost any antenna that's claiming, it's not the best one out there, but a lot of the antennas that claim 80 miles, 100, 150-mile range are small. This one is larger. So you want to look and understand that a larger antenna is going to work better than a smaller antenna. And look at all those hype keywords. It's unbelievable. HD ready, ATSC 3.0 ready, 45-mile range, the Ultra HD. Those are all just keywords to confuse people. And people fall for it. 95% of people fall for it. And it saddens me. I wish the Federal Trade Commission would do something about this, because I kid you not, probably 99% of people think that HD antennas are a thing, and they look up HD antennas. They don't do their research, and they end up with bad reception and stuck on cable.
Yeah. And well, with this, like you said, a lot of long elements on it. The longer elements are picking up, are a more surface area to pick up the stations.
Correct. So more surface area, and then you see the ones to the right are UHF elements, the smaller elements, and then the ones to the left are VHF elements. You can see they're slightly larger. Yep. They're probably like 2 or 3 feet wide. That's kind of what you need for VHF. And what I did is, if you go back, Todd, just to page before, I made a general list just to kind of help guide people on general antennas I recommend. Now, I can't necessarily say this antenna is going to work best for everyone and that antenna is going to work best for everyone, but I've kind of narrowed it down to some antenna models based on kind of performance. So you see the smaller ones to the top are small directionals, and you get to medium directional ones, and then large directionals towards the bottom for weaker signal areas. That's mainly what I do. And of course, it does get a little complicated, because you got to figure out if you have UHF and VHF. And you can see the one kind of to the left of his cursor doesn't have any VHF elements. It's a good antenna for UHF, but you don't see that long element. So it's not going to be, good for VHF. Now, doesn't mean don't buy it. It means if you have VHF, you might need a second antenna or a VHF kit on it. So that website I have is pretty easy. I mean, it's Amazon.com/shop/antenna-man. I think Todd has posted it before. It's a good resource. It's just kind of there. And I want to make it clear that I'm not influenced by anyone whatsoever. I choose these antennas based on performance I get. If I wanted to make $1 million and be sponsored by these horrible antenna companies, I would have done it by now. But instead, I shift this around sometimes too. Based on viewer feedback, I might know that one of the models isn't performing as well down the road. And I've removed one of the models before. I used to have the Winegard HD 8200U, which is probably the largest antenna you can buy. I don't recommend it, because I've been told by viewers of mine that there's an issue with the cartridge, that it fails over time. And I contacted Winegard and said, this is issues. I'm getting feedback with your antenna. Do you have any comment? And they just kind of brushed it off and sell replacement cartridges on their website. So I'm like, screw you guys. I'm not going to give you any publicity. So,
right. So I had seen that this is another one of the smaller antennas that I've seen that it's gotten, the Clearmaster has gotten some positive feedback when I would have thought it wouldn't have done really well. I wouldn't have thought that it would have done very good. And I want to say you reviewed this, if I'm not mistaken. I watched a video, and it actually did pretty decent, didn't it?
Yeah, so this antenna is a great small directional antenna. It's not the best out there, but for a lot of people, it will work. And it's a good low profile design. One of the things I really like about it is it's kind of like a dual indoor and outdoor setup. It's probably one of the best indoor antennas you can get. So what I like about it is you can buy it, try it out indoors if you're in that borderline where you might get indoor reception, you might not. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to send it back. You could just put it on your roof, and then it probably will get reception there, as long as you're in a moderate to strong signal area. Now, if you're in the middle of the mountains, 65 miles away with a lot of trees, you're not going to get, the reception. I saw one person mention they weren't getting signals from 60 miles away with this antenna. Again, it's not about the mileage. It's about the reception you're getting at your location. That means the signals are weaker at your location. I would expect them to be weaker 60 miles away. That's actually a stretch for this antenna.
Yeah,
I would rate that
have thought.
antenna about 40 miles, not 60 miles.
Yeah, to me, I think if you were going to go a long ways, I think you would need something with some long elements on it to really pick up long distances. I mean,
yeah, the Televes is a good model. That's one that I'll be reviewing in a few weeks on my channel.
Okay.
The Televes is a company that's been around for 50, 60 years, but they've mainly been working out of Spain. It was only recently that they started to come to the United States and market some of their products, and they're very innovative. That's the thing about Televes. I'm not going to talk down about other antenna companies, but Televes is constantly like tweaking their stuff and adjusting. Like all of their antennas have an LTE filter built into them. I think most have automatic gain control, and it's just these things that the other antenna companies, again, I'm not trash talking them, but they didn't really have any competition. No one was changing anything, so they're just kind of doing the same old, same old. This company is kind of changing the game when it comes to the antennas they make, and I'm testing more and more of them out and finding that they actually are pretty good. I didn't like them at first because the one model they have looks like that ping bing ding antenna I tell people not to buy, like the one with the built-in rotator. And so what happened is they kind of blended together, and they reached out to me, and I just brushed them off. I was like, your antennas are probably junk. I don't trust you guys, blah, blah, blah. And then I tried out a few of their antennas, and I realized, wait, they're actually pretty decent. And your company is more than, I'm not going to bad talk all other antenna companies, but I'll tell you that most companies just, they're based out of the United States, but they do most of their manufacturing in China, and they outsource. And then if there's delays, they have to rely on the manufacturer, which is separate. Televes handles everything. They handle the design, the production, and everything. And I just have so many good things to say about Televes, and very few bad things to say about their antennas.
Well, one of the things I noticed on this one, which not a lot of them offer this, is you got two outs. So this could go to two different TVs, where a lot of times you're only going to have one out, and then you would have to buy, a splitter of some sort, where this seems like it's a built-in splitter. So
Correct.
they've already basically made it so that it's an amplifier, I would assume, right? That it's going to amplify the signal so that it can actually go to two TVs and not lose any signal strength.
Yeah, and the thing about Televes antennas that kind of bothered me at first, those of you who have been watching the whole time, I had mentioned probably about 30 minutes ago that the one antenna has a built-in preamp, and when you lose, the preamp goes, you lose all reception. This antenna has a built-in preamp, and for a while I was like, no, this is not going to do, because if the preamp fails, you lose all reception. This antenna is and all the Televes antennas are very unique in the aspect their preamps are powerless pass-through, meaning if you unplug the power inserter, or if for some reason the preamp fails down the road, you don't lose all reception. You still get a connection to the antenna, which is really amazing, because most preamps, it's either you have them on and connected, or if they're unplugged, or if they fail, you lose most, if not all, reception. These antennas are just very unique in that aspect, and I just think they're so cool, because in some scenarios a preamp can make reception worse. So what I've done when installing antennas is I would set up the antenna, and if I saw a reception problem with the channel, I'd add a preamp, and sometimes the preamp would make the reception better. But there's no way to find out without going up on the roof and putting on the preamp, seeing what you get, and then taking it off, seeing what you don't get. With this, all you have to do is unplug it. If you unplug it and you notice you get better reception with it unplugged, the preamp is making reception worse, and you just leave it unplugged, which is what I did when I tested out their de novo model. I was getting slightly better reception when it wasn't plugged in compared to when it was plugged in.
Okay, that's good. So we talked about that. One of the you did a video on rotators. So some people think that they need a rotator to go from one to another, one area to another. And this, I would think, as you said in your video, it's probably not normal that people are in the middle of two different markets and they want both markets. And this would basically turn the antenna to the predetermined direction, depending on which market they're wanting to pick up.
Yeah, and a lot of times people get confused if they see a signal come from the south and then one from the southeast, so they're a little bit spaced out. They think they need a rotator. but most antennas have a gain pattern between 45 to 90 degrees that will get signals from, you know, a 90-degree span, and even from the back, depending on how strong they are. Rotators, I've ran at least about, I think I'm up to 2,400 reception reports I've run on my website. And out of all of those, I'd say only maybe 2 or 3% of people need a rotator. The rotator is best if you're in a very remote area and you only can get, let's say, ABC and CBS from market A, and then Fox and ABC from market B in a totally different direction. Now, if you're directly between two markets, what happens a lot of times, and what happened for me, is you can get a directional antenna and point it towards the market you prefer to get stations from. And then you probably will get some of the out-of-market stations from the back of the antenna. They just won't be as reliable as if you pointed the antenna directly at that market. And then some people think, well, I should get a rotator then. Todd and I talked about this before the show. At that point, you have to look at all the channels in each market, because what you may find is that the majority of programming on the out-of-market ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox stations is duplicate compared to what you get locally. Some differences are sporting events and, you know, local news, but if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan and you can get Philadelphia stations, that should be all you need. I'm not an Eagles fan, so I just want to make that clear. I use that as an example. Where the rotator is mainly, it's also good for people who are technical and want to play around. If you're like me and you just like knowing that you can get stations from here and stations from there and what all you can get, totally go for a rotator. But I found the majority of people, you just point the antenna towards the major market stations, you don't need a rotator.
And they don't want to touch it again. It's like they point it and they're done. One other thing that you talked about on the show about the rotator, and was one of, and I don't know if I had it saved, was the signal meter.
So these are all the same box. They just come under different like companies and stuff like that. And they're not the best, but they serve a very good purpose with if you have a rotator and also for the signal meter function. Go to the Mediasonic one, because I haven't purchased that TV one. I just put it as a backup in case the Mediasonic one was out of stock. The Mediasonic one should be, if you click on that, the one where it says not that one, the other one.
Oh, not
that one's out. I have to remove it from my page. So the reason why you guys probably see two of them on there is because sometimes the one model would sell out and I didn't want to leave people to a dead end, so I just put two of the models in there. This is a model where if you go on the remote, there's an info button, and if you press the info button twice, it brings up a signal meter, which is very, very helpful, almost critical if you're setting up an antenna. It's a $30 investment, and I think it's a really good investment to have. If you, now it's not necessary in every case. Some of you may just be able to go up there, point the antenna, and get all stations. But if you're having problems with a particular station, that signal meter is going to show you some data that your regular TV set is not going to show you.
Yeah, I was looking. I know I had seen it on your video for this, and again, I posted in the show notes, you guys, his YouTube channel's on there, and he does for the rotator. He actually shows pictures of this tuner, and it actually gives you an actual percentage of each channel as you're going through the channels, and it remembered each one of the channels. Unlike my TV, which once it does the scan, it just says these are your channels. I don't get the, hey, this is 60%, but this one's 90%. But this interface on this does show you the exact percentage of each station as you roll through the menu.
And it's also good for the rotator. What he had mentioned was a manual input method. So if you have a rotator, what most people are doing is they're pointing it, running a rescan, but then they lose all channels depending on where they point the antenna. With this DTV box, you can manually add channels based on the RF channel. So that way you can have them all on the list and you don't have to run a rescan every time you rotate the antenna. It's also very helpful, and I have a few video resources. It's hard for me to tell exactly how to do it. But there is a way. Let's say you have an antenna and you can't lock in this one channel no matter where you point it. There is a way to use a manual input method to move the antenna around until you get something on the signal meter. You hit OK, and now you have a guide on where to place the antenna compared to just putting in a random spot, running rescans, and hoping for the best. It's not the way you want to do it.
Yeah, I in one of the old converter boxes. I remember when we went from analog to digital. Remember TVs? Not all TVs had digital, and I remember our old TV did not. And I actually had to get one of these things, and it gave me so much information. Well, now the last two TVs I have actually have built-in tuners. When it scans, it doesn't tell me anything. I mean, it just says yes or no, the channel's there or not. And I will say Vizio, and I don't know if they're still doing it. A lot of Vizios don't have tuners in them. They're displays. So there's no built-in tuner to the TV. So if you run an antenna to your TV, there's no scan, there's no tuner to pull in the channels. You would actually have to use a digital tuner converter box that grabs that signal and then puts it to the TV. Now, Tyler, do you see a lot of, I know for a while Vizio was doing that with almost all their TVs. Do you know if they stopped doing that or if other companies just didn't jump on board?
Well, I think they learned their lesson. What they were trying to do is the majority of people when they have a TV, they don't use the internal tuner. They're just watching a cable box or using a streaming service on a Fire Stick. And I think what Vizio did is they said, well, if most people are doing that, we'll just not have the internal tuner, cut costs, and, increase our profit margin. And what I'm sure happened was people bought these TV sets and they realized they don't have a tuner. They sent them back, and Vizio was left with all these returns, and they realized, wait a second, well, people are actually starting to go to antennas. We don't want to do this. And frankly, I don't know why they did it in the first place. That was never a good idea. Even if, it's only 10% of people that get TV by an antenna, that's still not something I'd mess with. If 10% of my audience, if I sold a TV set and 10% of my audience needed something, I would make sure it was in all of my TV sets. So that was a mistake on their part. I don't understand why they did it, but big companies make very, very, very stupid decisions sometimes. So
yeah. And I think that they marketed it as, if you read the thing, because at that time I was looking for a TV and they would say display.
Digital display.
It would say digital display.
TV.
And most people didn't have any idea what that meant. And I'm looking through TVs. I'm like, I can't get that because I'm going to use over the air. And people are like, oh, no, it's a great deal. I'm like, no, it's not, because I'm going to use an antenna. I've been using an antenna for 12 or 14 years now. I need one. So, it was a problem. But I don't notice it with any TVs I have now. I know the LG I bought, it had a tuner in it already. So that is one thing you've got to pay attention to, folks. If you want to say cut the cord, and you're like, well, I'm going to get an antenna, make sure your TV has a tuner. Because if not, it's not impossible. You would just have to buy a tuner, because the cable cord from your antenna would go into that box. It's a converter box, goes in, then it would go to your TV. So not that it's impossible if you don't have a tuner, but it just means you have to buy one more device. And I don't know about, I love devices. So I was going to ask you about omnidirectional, because that's a key word and I've seen a lot of videos on omnidirectional. People think, oh, that's great, because that means I get signals from everywhere. I get it from all around.
So that's a common misconception about omnidirectional antennas, and I had to make a dedicated video on the topic of omnidirectional antennas versus directional antennas, since there was a big chunk of people that thought omnidirectional antennas were just hands down better. Now, the thing about an omnidirectional antenna is that, so my YouTube channel name actually changed. It's youtube.com/antenna man. It should come up right away. I got rid of that crazy jumbled mess of.
Well, that's you say, all right. So I'll grab that while you're talking. But it's if you grab the URL, that's what you get. But it is, because I got
what I was going to say was even if you just search antenna man, I'll come up. Omnidirectional antennas, the issue with them is they don't have good gain, so they're only going to work when the signals are moderate to strong, which means you may end up, if you're directly between two markets, what I found can happen with an omnidirectional antenna is you may end up with unreliable signals from both markets compared to reliable signals from one market with a directional antenna. Omnidirectional antennas, I found in most cases, just don't work well. Now, if you have very strong signals, you will possibly be able to get away with an omnidirectional antenna. I did find, though, most people get ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox from one main direction. So you want an antenna with the gain pattern pointed in that direction, so you can get best reception possible with that. And if you have like a PBS channel from the back or an ion channel that's just coming from a random spot, the antenna will probably still pick it up if the signal is strong. But definitely, if you're in a heavily wooded area, do not use an omnidirectional antenna, because they're also prone to multipath interference, where because they get signals from all directions, they can get out of sync signals from different directions. And what that means is it will just be out of sync and you'll get unreliable reception.
Look at
Vaping Vessel.
Vaping Vessel.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah. And I've known him for years. Yeah, he's a man, got lots of knowledge. He's been doing this stuff for a long time. So, yeah, there's because at one point I actually thought about it, and then the more research I did before I bought my this antenna that I have out here, I thought about it, and then I read. The more I read, the more I was like, unless you're right close to some towers, it's probably not going to be the best deal. And if you're close to some towers, well, then you can get away with probably some lower end antennas.
I thought the same thing, and then what I ended up doing was I tested them out. So I bought probably 4 or 5 omnidirectional antennas and tested them out on my YouTube channel. And pretty much every omnidirectional antenna except one had issues picking up all the stations small directional antennas could pick up. So I got, let's say, 7 or 8 channels I tested out. Half the omnidirectional antennas couldn't even get the VHF channels, and then most of them couldn't even get the low-powered station that was hard to pick up. The one omnidirectional antenna I found to work the best, and again, not the best for everyone, but the best I found for this scenario, is the Channel Master. It's either called the Omni Pro or Omni Plus. It's the only model Channel Master makes. It's an omnidirectional antenna. I found that one to work the best out of everyone I tested out, but still in a lot of scenarios, you might want a directional antenna.
Yeah, I want to say, hold on a second. Let's see here. Let's see. Robert asks, can you mount a Channel Master 3020 antenna on top of a 40? No, you wouldn't want a 40-foot tower on top of a rotator. That would be a bad thing, because that's too much weight.
Without a rotator.
Without. I'm sorry, I didn't read that.
And this is what's interesting. So about like a month ago, Robert, probably 2 months ago, I had a setup that wanted a rotator, and we got a big Channel Master, the 3020. And because we had a smaller antenna, I noticed a smaller antenna could only get signals from the north when it's pointed to the north, and signals from the south when it's pointed south. And what happened, and it's not going to happen in every scenario, but it happened in his scenario and also in my scenario about 10 miles east, was the Channel Master had covered such a large surface area and had such good gain that it was getting signals both from the front and the back, even though both signals were kind of borderline fair to weak. They weren't the strongest signals. So yeah, you can mount it on a tower without a rotator. You just want to make sure it's pointed towards the major stations that you want to pick up from a certain market. So if you can get ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox from, let's say, the Southeast, and they're the strongest, point it towards that, and whatever else you get is kind of icing on the cake.
Diamond here says he had bought one without a tuner. And actually, Diamond was sharing pictures of he built his own antenna, built one with the pipes, and he actually posted a picture of it, and it picks up a lot of good stations. But he said he had to return it. The return sender says all TVs have a tuner. It's like, no, So if you're looking to do antennas, just make sure that you have a tuner in your TV. If not the end of the world. You could get a tuner to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things is, and I've had the question, there's people that are recording off of, I've had people ask, how do you record live stations? And most cases, I think Roku has one. I think, doesn't Amazon has a recorder?
So they're called over-the-air DVRs, and there are several options. I have reviews of almost every over-the-air DVR out there on my YouTube channel. Some of them include the Amazon Fire TV Recast, the HD Home Run, Mediasonic HomeWorks, Tableau, TiVo has one, Channel Master has one. I found if I was going to choose maybe 2 of the main DVRs I'd recommend, that Mediasonic HomeWorks is a great affordable way to start. It's basically a converter box with a recording function. It doesn't have the best capability, but it will record shows if you tell it to record certain shows, and it'll do the job. but the more powerful one is the Tableau. And I just found Tableau to be such a good DVR company that they strictly focus on Tableau. So Amazon's focusing on a million things. Channel Master's focusing on antennas. TiVo does focus on DVRs, but the thing about TiVos is they require monthly fees. So you have to pay a monthly fee if you get a TiVo. I don't like that. If you're cutting the cord, you should be getting away from monthly fees. You shouldn't be adding monthly fees. So I don't recommend them for that reason. And then, yeah, mainly the recast I liked. Someone said they love their recast, but I noticed a flaw with the recast. They may have corrected it since I reviewed it about a year ago. But one of the flaws of the recast was it would bring up this weak. So if I was a TV station, you would see this weak or no signal, like right in the middle. This message that would say weak or no signal, even if there was no breakup. Like, yeah, the signal is weak, but if you don't see any breakup, what's the point of putting that on and distracting, just kind of ruining the show? And there was a thread with like hundreds of people commenting about on Amazon, like saying, hey, can you get rid of this? And they just didn't listen. So as a result, I said, there are going to be some people in that scenario where they have a borderline fringe channel that's not very strong, and it may come and go. It's not right for them to see the stupid message come up every time, it's on that borderline. And again, I want to make it clear. It came up when there was no breakup in the picture or sound. It would just come up the same way you see me on the stream, which was a major flaw. And I told them they didn't listen, so now I don't recommend them.
Yeah. Well, and I will say one of the things about that I do admire about when you're doing reviews of an antenna, if you watch any of his antenna, and when he's reviewing an antenna, he'll pull up some of the antennas that you've reviewed recently, and he goes through and he uses like one of those ones where you see the meter, like the little tuner boxes, and you actually see the percentage, and he'll say, okay, with this antenna, this channel was at this signal percentage, let's say 79%, and then this one got it at 85. The one I'm testing today, I'm getting 45. And you go through 5-6 different stations, different markets. You're like, this station is this far away, and this is what I'm getting. So if you're a person that's thinking, because you're not in his market, but if you're able to look at that and say, hey, he's picking up these type of stations this far away, it can give people a pretty good baseline of what's good, what's bad for their own scenario. And I do like the way that you show that, because you're unbiased. You're like, this station, and here's the reviews or the signal for each one of those channels.
Yeah, that's correct. I tried. So when I first started out, I didn't really know what to do, but then later I got viewer feedback and decided when I make an antenna review, I show the results of the previous 2 antennas I reviewed to kind of compare and show you what I'm getting. Now, a lot of times you'll see some of the antennas not doing as well on the VHF channels, and it's a logical explanation. I'll explain. Yeah, it only has one dipole, doesn't have the most gain. That's expected. Don't freak out. That's a little lower. I kind of make it easy for people to understand. I do have some people that will say, oh, why don't you use the best antenna that you got out of all of them? The problem is there is no one antenna that did the best for each scenario, where it did the best for VHF and UHF. It was always a little bit of one or the other, and I always tell people to use my channel as a resource to kind of go through and see, what antennas work best. And if they don't want to do the research and they just want me to take a look, I do offer a service on my website where I will take a look at the reception for a small fee and tell them exactly what kind of antenna setup they need. But yeah, no, I try. I'm not. One of the things that's interesting that I think about many times about my channel is I sell it short intentionally. I get people wanting to advertise on my channel almost every day, and I turn down at least 95% of them because I have a trust with my viewers and I want to have some transparency. YouTube requires me to disclose if I have a paid review or if there's even if there's just an advertisement within the review. And I like having that independence where I can decide what antennas to purchase. You will see every so often a sponsored antenna video, but there's no special treatment. It's tested out in the same location using the same method. And frankly, the interesting thing is Televes sponsored one of their antenna reviews, and it didn't do the best. And I said it didn't do the best. Like, not that it was a bad antenna, but it'll work for strong signals, not for weak signals. I'm not going to say this antenna is the best when it's not the best.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and honestly, that was one of the things I liked about you. Even when I started watching you, when you were like 50,000 subscribers, or you were a whole lot lower than you are now when I first started watching you, because you've grown because so many people are wanting to cut the cord and get the over-the-air antennas. And so I've seen like your sponsored videos most of the time with your sponsors. This a sponsored video. What was it? There was a wallet. You said this video is sponsored by so-and-so's wallet. So it wasn't like they were trying to get a good review because it had nothing to do with the antenna. And you were like, this video is sponsored by this wallet. I can't even remember what it was.
Yeah, it was a Ridge wallet, and those are the sponsorships I like to do. But increasingly, what's happening is I am definitely like in a good way, not in a good way, but the thing I'm noticing is if I review a particular company's antenna, it's going out in front of 100,000 people and possibly getting them some sales, despite, my fair and, unbiased analysis. It's still benefiting the company big time. So what I'm increasingly going to do down the road is I am having sponsored reviews, but the only difference is they're paying me for each video I make takes about at least 8 hours to make. Even today, I was telling Todd, I had a huge headache. I'm very exhausted because I spent all day working on a video, and it's really, I don't want to say it's not fair to me. I'm fine making these videos, help people out and get some AdSense revenue, but I'm definitely selling myself short. So I just want to make it clear for anyone who's watching me, if you do see sponsored antenna reviews in the future, I will never be bought and sold by any of these antenna companies. It's just to compensate me for the hours I spend setting up this and frankly showcasing their antenna in front of 100,000 people. That's just, I'm just selling myself short. I'm basically a TV station saying, hey, advertiser, I'm just going to say your message and you're not going to pay me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, as all my friends know, and the people that watch my channel, I'm not Mr. want to make it. I mean, other than my intro to the show, that's about as flashy as it's going to get. I'm not going to go through and do a bunch of editing. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of all that other stuff because my videos are what my videos are, and you like it for the content. Whereas Tyler, you're working to make it look more polished, more professional, and that's what I think of him. I think of Rojas. You guys that know Rojas, next level, different people that are trying to make a more professional looking video. It takes time. I mean, you can't slam it together in. When I made the video today, y'all, I posted that one on CocoScope. I think I don't know. I was about 35 minutes into the whole thing, creating the video, uploading it, and done. So that's just me. But yeah, I certainly appreciate. I'm gonna go ahead and let Tyler go because we've been at an hour. I told him that I'd cut him loose at an hour. You guys check out. I will say before he finishes up anything he wants to say, check out his channel. I've got it right down here. He has tons of knowledge. If you go to his page and take a look at if there's a certain antenna model, it's probably on that channel. If you're talking about amplifiers, he's got that on there. I mean, it's got item after item after item. And I really appreciate your time to coming on here and check out his channel. You've got a website, you've got a Facebook group, a web channel, and then an Amazon channel. I posted all those. Anything else you want to say before you head out?
No, I definitely want to thank everyone for tuning in and following me. I'm sure there are some people who are watching me they watched my channel. I just saw someone said they watch all of my reviews. I greatly appreciate that. If it weren't for, my viewers, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. So thank you so much for supporting me by watching the videos. And frankly, you're pretty intelligent to know you can actually cut the cord and get all these free channels. I look at some people that are paying hundreds of dollars for cable and satellite. I'm like, that's not too smart, but whatever. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah. Vaping Vessel, one of the things, and I don't know, did you ever see the Tableau tuner that they had that was actually, you could attach it, and I actually looked it up today when they were going to release it. It would hook up to your Shield. It would hook up to your Shield, then you could hook up a hard drive to your Shield. You were going to be able to download and onto the hard drive, and they had a TV guide that said. But I didn't realize they discontinued it. You can't
I
get it.
wasn't aware of that either. So Tableau has focused mainly on the average consumer, and that's probably why. I think when they first started out, they were more into techie things and tech stuff. But now they're focusing on the average person. And in fact, the review I worked on today was the Tableau Dual HDMI, which is a Tableau with an HDMI output. Again, they're looking at the average, and that's why they did it, because they noticed that the average person, not necessarily you guys watching me, but the average person who knows nothing about antennas and is not the best technical person, they're not going to understand how to get a Tableau on their network and modem and then the Roku. They might not even have a Roku. So Tableau had to make a model with HDMI they just released, and I'm reviewing. But yeah, it dates back to that. That's why they don't have it anymore, because they realize that the average market base thinks it's all HD digital antennas, and they have to market to that.
Yeah, in most people, unless you're a power cord cutter, and for like most of the people watching my show, and we talk about the better devices, and almost everyone I know, and I bought the NVIDIA Shield 2015 in November. As soon as it came out, I bought it. And Tableau thought, what a great idea. And the first time I thought, I'm like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. But yeah, Tableau said, how many people are actually buying this? This is for the smaller percentage. They're dumbing it down. They're making it easy. They want to make it so that
definitely a market for that. I love nerdy stuff, especially like the one tuner I have that you can connect it to your cell phone and get digital TV. That's cool. It's a market in itself, but it's not gonna, unfortunately, it's not gonna make your company a multi-million.
No, it's not. It's a very niche group.
It'll please nerds like me, but it won't do as well. I do want to answer JJ's question. So Tableau, this is a misconception about Tableau. I always thought I was against them for the longest time, because I was like, you guys have subscription services. No. But it turns out they don't charge for guide. They have a free 24-hour guide. So if you buy a Tableau, you don't need a subscription. You can DVR, you can schedule recordings 24 hours in advance. It's just if you want the additional benefit of a 2-week guide, viewing out of the home, that's where the guide or the subscription is for. But they're not holding you hostage like TiVo. TiVo holds you hostage. They say, you bought our TiVo, no, now you got to pay us more monthly. No, that's not how it works. But it's a great concept of like everything in life. Like there's a lot of free stuff. You listen to Pandora, Spotify, they have the basic free version where it has its limitations, and then the premium version where you can get a lot more features. That's the same way Tableau is. They have the basic version and then the premium version, which is great.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and let him go. And DaButcher, he'll have to get back this we'll get back on some of the other stuff, because you guys will keep him all day long. And he's got videos to work on. Total respect for you coming on the show and hanging out with us.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, thank you for having me, Todd. And thanks everyone for watching me. And hopefully I'll see some of you on my channel.
Yeah, come on over, check him out. Thanks for joining us, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem. See ya.
Yep. So definitely, you guys check him out. The guy has massive knowledge, and I highly, highly respect him on what he's doing and putting it out there. And that's why I want to have people on this show that are smarter than me. Not that that's not hard, because there's a lot of people smarter than me. I want to have people on here smarter than me that know stuff, that can share that knowledge, because this show is about sharing knowledge. Sometimes I'm sharing more knowledge than what we should, but hey, that's just what we got going on. I've posted out some links to a handful of people. If they want to jump on the show, we're going to go into more of our shady gray area topics. So Vapin Vessel, I hope that you're doing well. You'll have to come on the show sometime, Vapin. Welcome to join us. So I'm going to go through and talk on a few things in our world. Saren is still struggling a little bit. They've had some more updates this past week. I think he's pretty much ironed out most of his issues. I still do see some pop-ups on my device. I did see some the last time I booted up Saren or my computer or my Shield. I did see a Saren pop-up about one of the updates, and I'm not sure if that's going to go away. But he's still working on it. So cut him some slack, give him some time. He's working on it. And, you know, him doing the rewrite, and I said that last week, he did a rewrite of the code. And there's going to be always some problems when you do a lot of rewrite. There's going to be some things conflicting. First, it was with tracked, and now there's been this and that issues, and he's slowly fixing it. The only issue I had with one of the big issues I had was I'm using Nox Silvo on my skin. I can't remember Dax. I think it's in Silvo. And once it does the scrape, the info of the show or movie was like overlaying the scrape results. And he said that he had fixed it for numerous skins, but he didn't fix it for that. So that was the only issue that I had. I actually tried it with Phenomenal Skin, and I didn't have an issue. So welcome, Shady Gray. Shady Gray. All right. So what's up, Nor?
How you doing?
Doing good. No pizza box today. Got your New York Yankees hat? What the hell?
I don't think it's mine. I just found it. I just found it in the street. I was thought, it looks warm. We left that shit.
Oh shit. So how things are doing you?
Yeah, not too bad. Great show tonight. That antenna guy was really interesting.
He has got a ton of knowledge.
He knows his shit.
Yeah, he does. And what I like about him is he's very humble. And he says selling himself short. And I try to do that too. When someone says, hey, do you know that? I'm like, I kind of know a little bit about that. I'm not going to oversell what I know and what I don't know. I'd rather undersell and overperform. And he does a lot of the same thing. I think he's very, what the other thing is I like about him is he shows who he is. How many people that do these videos, you have no idea who they are. They hide behind an icon or some, and it's like, I wanted, when I started my channel, and I wanted to say, this is me. Like me, don't like me. I'm not hiding behind some icon. I'm not some big burly 7-foot dude that's, 350 pounds lifting weights every day. Fucking A. I'm not. This is me. Like me, don't like me. And also I feel like you can trust people better when you can see them. Because I know I can't trust you because I see you. I know that I can't trust you because you look like a shady fuck.
I am what you see is what you get with me.
Yeah,
it is. I'm straight to the point. I'm blunt. I don't think about. I'm honest.
Yeah, you are.
I think honest is the best way to be.
Yeah.
Don't like pretty people up in that. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Noir, he is what he is. So, hey, anything new that you've seen in our circle of projects and stuff that people may want to know about?
Well, as you saw like last week, the new search recent added stuff like being added to a few add-ons last week. I see Asgard added Orion scrapers into their searches, I think today or yesterday.
Yep, and that was actually going to be one of the things we talk about because you actually showed a picture of Orion, and I actually went through and tried to buy it, and I'll tell you, that didn't play out so well, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, you posted a picture of adding the Orion scrapers, and you said it was in Asgard.
I didn't post that picture.
Or maybe it's somebody else. I remember I saw it in one of my groups.
It's probably Narcissist.
Okay, yeah, it could have been, yeah. But somebody had posted a picture of Orion, the results, and Orion is another service. It's not a debrid service, but it caches, and I may be a little bit ignorant on some of this stuff, and Noir, you could jump in here and try to clear up some of this, but my understanding is that it caches results from other people's scrapes, and as it finds stuff, it caches those results to make it a little bit quicker for the add-on to find it. Gaia, thank you, Red. Gaia was the first one that I noticed that used that. Orion used it. So it used that ability to cache those results and could give you a faster result list. Am I right? As far as you know or understand?
That's what I'm hearing from. I don't have an RD account or nothing like, so I'm like really poor. But everyone that I've like spoken to has said like, yeah, it's fast. It's fast delivering. it connects really quick and it pings back really quick.
Yeah, let me I'm gonna try to pull it up. I forgot it was on my I'm like, I pull it up, it should come right up. Well, no, not when Orion's on my other browser. It's not part of my browser for this. So hold on a second. Let me
I'm the main guy. Like when someone says, "Can you test me a non-debrid link?" I go, "Yeah, sure."
let's see. So let's see here. Let me add and this service, like I said, it's not a very expensive service, to be fair. It's quite cheap, and I'll show you guys. And you guys, again, I'm not here to sell you affiliate links. We'll go through and talk about it. So here it is. Here's the website. You can see Orionoid packages. I think I showed this last week. Now you can ignore the $199 because there ain't nobody paying $199 for life. But you're talking $2, $3, $1, 50 cents a month. The main difference is how many links that you're able to get a day. So you can get a free account. You can see 100 times, 100 links a day. But the thing is that you can go through 100 links pretty quick on 1 or 2 scrapes, because depends on how many it pulls. I actually tried to sign up for this today. I paid for the $4 a month package just to test it. I wanted to test it, give it a run, to be able to speak from experience with it. I signed up at 10:30 today, and I signed up, which wasn't a problem. Then I wanted to use my PayPal account, and went through you got to go to another service to use your PayPal. Fine. I went through that service, posted my $4.60 because 60 cents was a service charge. And I have yet to get my email to tell me what my key is to add into Orion so that I can use the damn thing. I'm not, and it said 3 to 5 minutes. So not excited about it out of the gate. But I did notice, I tried it with Saren. Now you'll have to walk through, when you walk through Orion, and you have to install it from the repo, install the program, and then run the program, and it runs like a wizard. Says, do you use RD and premium and hosters, and do you have a Usenet account? Asks all these kind of questions so that it filters and supposed to narrow it down for you. I found it to run faster than a normal Saren scrape. But I can't say, to me, Saren's gotten a little slow, and maybe it's because of my setup. It seems a little slower because it's giving me so many results. If I do autoplay, sure, it plays within 15 seconds. But if I don't have an autoplay, it seems to take a while. The Orion caches the results of other people's searches, and I don't know if they actually search, but it's supposed to make it so that it's not going and hitting all the sites. It has a library of sorts of cache. So I wanted to try it out, but I guess I was thinking it was you, but it might have been a narcissist that had posted that image, and he's using the free version. And like I said, I used the free version, and just a few tests, I ran out of hashes or daily links. You see, it gave me 100. I had 113 out of three times of just searching, just screwing around. So free goes away pretty quick. I guess I probably should have made it that it only searched and only gave me 10 results, maybe. Live and learn. Tomorrow I can try the same thing. Let's see.
Always tomorrow.
Yeah, well, tomorrow I got to work, so. Let's see.
I'm not. Haha.
Yeah, lucky boy. I was off today, so. Michael says he was using it on Gaia, and like I said, Gaia was the first place I saw it. So we'll see. Red, yep, it does have free accounts. And Vaping Vessel, yes, I did see that it works with Syncler. Yep, I had seen that, which I kind of quit using Syncler when they've gone to kind of the paid thing. I was like, all right, I'm done with it.
So is this Orion more geared? Is it more geared towards kodi or towards sort of like a Plex style sort of sharing?
It as Vaping Vessels had posted, I have seen a few APKs that used it, very few. Syncler would be the only one, and maybe that Weed one would be the only other two. The only the two that I kind of think of off the top of my head. Maybe another one, an APK, but those are the ones that I would think that might use this. But then, all right. So Tyler talks about subscriptions when he said something about, oh, I ain't paying for all this. So if you're paying for an RD or a Premiumize or an Arbiter or whatever DaButcher service, and then you're like, well, I'm going to pay for my Orion service, and then I got to pay for my IPTV service, and then I'm going to pay for. We talk about that your costs of your monthly subscriptions starts going up, you guys. So just be careful. Use what you need to use or what you feel like you need to have or what works for you. But I don't know. I to be honest with me, when I use Shadow a lot, I'm done with my scrapes within 12 seconds. So do I need this? Maybe not, but I want to try it just so that I can see how well it works.
Yeah, you got to try everything. You got to try. If it doesn't work out for you, then don't use it.
Yeah.
You got to try everything once. You might get amazed. Wow.
Red asks, he says, Orion gives you free scrapers as well, not just RD. Yes, it actually asks you, do you have RD, Premiumize? I want to say Aldebrid. I think it asks me that. It asks about hosters. Did I want to authorize use hosters as well as Usenet? So it can kind of link into all those as your scraper package. And I want to say Saren, because this was on a setup on a portable, and I don't think I was using the internal scrapers from Saren. I think I was using the Orion scrapers. So yeah, so it's got its benefits. I don't know. I'm not sure. Tara says Death Streams has it too. One of the latest updates. Okay, so Death Streams is using it. So and if you go through you can actually install it for free. It doesn't cost you anything to install it. Install it from their repo. Install it. You can go through the program, the setup, and it will ask you this add-on, yes or no, and it lists all these add-ons. So yeah, that's what Sim you're asking. There was a handful that I saw that it would ask you, and you would authorize it or not authorize it. So if they would have given me my $4 worth today, I could have gave you guys more things to say. Yeah, it worked with this and not that. But as of now, hold on a second. I won't dog them out. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look at my emails right now. Hold on a second. Let's see. Did they send me an email? I even posted a complaint to their help saying, "Where's my my link?" And as of yet, nothing from Orion or the service that they use to process your PayPal. Okay, so and actually, I went into the company that processes your PayPal, and it says I was still processing the last time I saw it, or pending. It was on pending. So, and that was at 10:30 this morning, which is not 8 hours ago. Yeah, like 8 hours ago.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday for you, 8 hours ago, too damn long. So forget that. So that's what we got going here. One other add-on I was messing around today, and I want to go ahead and I'm gonna showcase this one add-on that I actually was messing around with. And if you watched my video today, I got to try to remember which portable to open. That's a bad thing when I have too many portables and I can't remember which skin is which. I'm like, oh, is that portable? Or is this portable? Okay, so it's this one. I went through and did a video today because someone sent me a message or posted on my videos and said, hey, how do I add an add-on? I think Ross, he watches the videos. Ross asked, how do I add an add-on to your builds or to a build that doesn't have the add-on already in it? Because sometimes builders don't put every add-on in it, which they probably should. And so I made a video how to add it to one of mine. And I added this new add-on that narcissistic. Did I say it right yet? Nar. I'm just going to call him Nar because, this is kind of like that word that's not Pacific, but it's that other word that starts with an S
I think that you.
that I can't say.
I think you and Shrinking Sharon are the same person because she can't pronounce it either. She always tags me wrong, NILR, and I just like get blanked out all the time.
Well, it's just Nar to me. It's Nar.
Noir. It's black.
Not you, not you. I got Noir. I'm talking about Nars. The other guy.
Narcissist.
Yeah, him. So, all right. So actually, you can see that I actually got an Orion update. So they actually updated it today. Let's see. You able to see that? Yeah. So that updated today. You can see I was messing around with it. So, all right, let's back out of this. So I was actually messing around. So folks with a 4K TV and a premiumized account, or excuse me, a real DaButcher account, there is this add-on that I was kind of messing around with today that has a lot of content. So if you're a 4K snob like me, you actually can go in and watch just 4K content. And these are direct links. Really nice, played great. I played or messed around with some of these, and they opened and played just fine. So this may be, I want to say it's in Ezerman's repo, so you can look up that URL. But yeah, 4K.
It's in Ezerman's. It's in a couple of others as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I knew that it's on. Because I pulled it from Ezerman's repo, but yeah, there may be some other ones that have it, but works. 4K links, direct links, works. So maybe something if you guys are wanting to mess around with some different add-ons, and you're a 4K snob like me, you may find that be an add-on that you'd want to add to your arsenal to enjoy some 4K content.
I must admit, it's in my build. It's own section. So.
Yeah. It works very well. I mean, the thing about with 4K, not everything's 4K. So, you know, so you got who it is. All right. So Vaping Vessel wants to know like who you are. Noir in Kodi Circle helps out in a lot of I don't know. So what would your biography be, Noir?
I'm just
whatever.
I'm the community joker that just like pops up around all the places. But
that fits. Right. That fits. He helped, and you help in little places in a lot of different. You're in a lot of different Telegram groups.
Okay, my coding journey started in 2016. I got into the scene and somehow discovered TV add-ons. That was the first thing that you get. I jumped away from that and I found the Wookiee Wizard. And I got in with them, joined their crew, eventually got a build out within their wizard. And I've been like admin, whatever out there forever. Then obviously we got closed down. No, we didn't get closed down, sorry. Our friend died.
Yeah.
And our friend Lee died. And we thought we cannot continue the Wookiee no more. Because it wouldn't be right without Lee. So then we started Kodi Nation, which lasted 1 week.
One Nation. Oh, there was One Nation.
Kodi Nation first.
All right, I missed that one.
Yeah,
1 week.
1 week.
One week I missed
well. We didn't get a password before we got shut down. Anyway, that's shut down. So okay, right. Drop Kodi from the name. Get out of that. So yeah, then One Nation. One Nation done well for a year and a half, 2 years. And then we got the takedown through Fact. So did a couple of us at the same time. That's when Supremacy got taken down and a couple of us. So yeah. So we all quit. And a few of us are back now. I'm still building now, but under a different name and different repo. You can get my bills from Narcissist, and you can get my bill from DC Marvel.
So but see, you went to just doing builds and just trying to keep yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, I was playlisting for a time.
Yeah, I know you were. I know you. You had a
Yeah.
gen. You were
Yeah.
doing some of the gen stuff. Yeah.
But
I did see. Hold on a second. I had a question here. Gaia versus Saren. Pros and cons. Heard of Elementum?
Elementum,
Yeah, that one. All right.
you could say.
So on that Elementum, I would say Elementum. I would say be careful of that because that uses ACE streams, torrents, and the issue with those is that you could possibly, if you're not behind a VPN, very easily get yourself in some trouble because you are joining torrent swarms and that type of thing, and it's you're sharing torrents. It's not the same as Debrid torrents or premiumized using those. No, you are part of the swarm, or you actually download it and you're sharing it. Your IP is visible. So if you're not behind a VPN, not the smartest thing to do. Could be very dangerous for you. Well, not dangerous, but it could get you a letter. So not one of my favorite things. Gaia, the last time I tried it, it was like running molasses through my shield. I mean, I could boot it up and try to look for something, and I could go fix me a drink or get me something to eat and come back, and then finally would be the results. Half the stuff was broke. They tried to do the trailer videos. It was broke. It was just problem. I don't even know if they're even updating anymore. I walked away from it because it was nothing but just slow. I got rid of the repo out of all my stuff. Got rid of it. Problems. Just too heavy. But all right, on the pro sides of Gaia, it gave you more results than any other add-on out there. But it had 120 scrapers. So maybe those redundant scrapers, but if you were looking for something really hard to find, it could probably find it if it was available. But way, way, way too slow, because how many people are looking for Gilligan's Island or something super obscure? Most people are looking for the popular shows, the popular movies, or maybe even the sub-popular stuff. Very few people are looking for the fringe crazy stuff, from 1975. So Gaia did a better job at the time on that really fringe crazy stuff. Saren updated quite a bit, a very active developer. It was designed more for speed when he created it, to be simple and fast and effective is what it was designed for. Not a lot of flashing. If you look at his menus, very simple. That's what he was wanting. But he wanted tracked integration. Both of them use Orion. Both of them use it. Trying to think, there was something else that Saren used and other people. I remember Saren also used the packages, which your scrapers were a separate package. It was not built into the add-on. So you had to actually manually go in and install the packages, which were a little bit different. Saren used to be my second favorite add-on. Now that he has been struggling with some updates, I don't use it as much. Not to say that he won't fix it. He will. I have complete faith that it'll be fixed and be running great. But right now, some bumpy roads. So pros and cons to it. Again, Saren also pulls a lot of older content. It has Next Up, which some people like that Netflix feel. I think Orion has it. Definitely Saren has it, that Next Up. So if you want to watch the next episode of a TV show, you can turn that on and it will already have the next episode ready to go to make it a nice smooth transition right into the next episode. So that's another plus to Saren. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would definitely stay away from Elementum, unless you're behind a VPN, because you're going to get yourself in torrent trouble. It's just not wise to do. Yeah, Rednex is the same thing I did. Yeah, you're going to use it definitely behind a VPN. Oh, so Vape and Vessel's been around a long time, so He could have been part of that name. Okay. So A4K, yes. Red, yeah, you got to have the red for the the scraper package, and it's just an extra step to Saren. So, again, I would definitely hold it on as let him work through the bugs, and he will fix it. Nixgate is going to it's gonna do well. My other information, and I'm waiting for if you guys got any questions, post them over here because we're going to roll out. I'll actually roll out before my 2 hours. If you have any questions, post them over here. CocoScope. So I have moved I've moved quite a few of my videos over to CocoScope. The reason being is I'm a little bit nervous on YouTube. I am definitely on. Oh, Tara, right here, Bob. I am definitely, my subject matter is definitely on the cusp of maybe not get you in trouble. If Rojas can get his channel shut down, there's no reason why I couldn't get mine shut down. So that's just being honest. So in thinking of that, I had to think about what are some other options for me. I still want to teach people. I really don't care if I make any money. That's not my main thing. So I looked into different aspects. I tried DTube. DTube, the problem with DTube is that you can upload a video, and unless you buy Bitcoins and stuff, or people watch your video and donate, give you credits, you can't upload any more videos unless I buy some credits. Well, so I got to buy something so that I can upload videos so that people can watch it for free. To me, not to sound bad, but that just, why am I going to pay money to upload videos so that people can watch it for free, save money, and then it costs me money to save them money? So I don't think I'm gonna go that route. I'm gonna, unless all of a sudden something I'm not figuring out on DTube, I'm probably not gonna go that route. CocoScope, I can upload for free. Doesn't cost me nothing. You don't have to see those ads before every video like you do for YouTube. Now, you will get a banner at the bottom of your video of somebody trying to advertise their channel. I can't do anything about that. But you're not going to have to watch a video on a Chrysler 300, or you don't have to watch a video on some little, looking to gain some money because they're doing cancer research or something like that. Before most YouTube videos, you got to watch one. Most videos now are most YouTube videos. You got to watch 2 videos before you can actually
two 5-second videos.
Yeah, it's a full video, like you can't click past it, and then the second one you can click after 5 seconds or 10 seconds. You can actually close it. So that's what YouTube, CocoScope does.
Yeah, same here, same in the UK, same.
Yeah, it's so I moved to CocoScope, moved my videos over there. The other plus with CocoScope is they are not monitoring you like they are on the old YouTube. They're not watching you for violations on all kinds of things that are scanning your videos. I actually posted a video of Blue made a video of our wedding. Had music, and it had pictures, it had video, and had 3 full songs on it. Noir, you saw it. So
I saw it. I almost cried.
Yeah,
the music you chose was beautiful. Like, it's beautiful.
It was but she created the video because the live feed was not so good, so she used the feed from my buddy's GoPro that he had over there that had really good video. So she used that, and then she used pictures, then she used transitions, and then added the music. Beautiful job. All right. She posted that on YouTube. So she posted on YouTube and she made it unlisted. So only her family would get it if she sent them a link. Within 15 seconds, YouTube removed it. Like, gone.
Copyright music.
Yeah. Music. Boom. Gone. I've put mine on CocoScope. It's been there not quite a week. no issues. So
It's sad. It's a sad situation when they got to do that.
yeah. Vape and vessel. So isn't YouTube Vanced, isn't that the client side, which would be, yes, it would have to do with the ads, but it wouldn't have to do it with, that doesn't have anything to do with me uploading content. So Vanced, if I'm not mistaken, that is just on the user side. So yes, you can install that on your Shield or whatever. And yes, you can avoid those ads, but it doesn't help a creator that's uploading stuff because the old YouTube is going to get you. Yeah, thank you. So right. So if you guys check out my CocoScope channel, and I ask people, share my CocoScope channel. Let's put people on there because I'm going to start uploading stuff that I'm worried that YouTube would flag me for. I'm going to put it on CocoScope, like full videos on how to install something where I'm not worried about it. I'm going to go through the scrape. Here's this. This is how it works. And I'm going to start putting in there. My safer stuff, I'll put on YouTube still. I'm not going to get rid of YouTube, but I'm going to put my safer stuff there. Put my stuff that I'm worried about YouTube maybe flagging me for, I'll put those on CocoScope. Noor, you want to say something?
Yeah, feel free to put your channel link into like my chats.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got no problem, just put them in there.
Yeah, because I want to. I was looking through. I did a search on for kodi in CocoScope. Dr. Venture has 250 subscribers, or ish. I think it was 250, 260. I'm up to 57 or 58, and I've been using CocoScope for a week. I'd love to have to be up there, caught up with him. He's been using CocoScope, it looks like, for about a year. I'd like to catch up with him. He does a lot of builds and a lot of add-on videos. My thing is I've kind of held off of add-on videos. So if people have add-on videos they want me to do, if you got an add-on video and you want me to share on CocoScope, hit me up. I'll do a full how to install it, how to get it, the whole 9 yards, build videos, all the stuff that a lot of the YouTubers are scared to do. I'm going to start doing them and put them on CocoScope. I'm going to make it my free thing. And yes, Vaping Vessel, you are correct. You do have to create an account. Create an account. It doesn't cost anything. Yes, a lot of people hate it. But I mean, how many times do we have to create accounts just to join, to open up any kind of website? It doesn't cost you nothing, but yes, you have to have an account. And there is, and all right, I will say, so it was created by a porn star to make money for porn stars, to make money. What is that? What is that? OnlyFans or fan onlys? What's that website?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, whichever one. All right, so it's created with that mindset, so that they want people on certain channels so that they can try to sell you exclusive videos, or they can sell you private videos or whatever. I don't care what they're also doing, but I'm wanting to use it so that I have so I can show content a little bit easier and I don't have to worry about YouTube flagging me. So that's where I'm going. You guys, please.
Fans only.
Huh?
You're joining fans only.
No, I'm not on fans only. I know I'd probably break it. Look at this mug.
You started saying, like, talking about this new website and go there, and you said, that's where you can find me.
No, fans only. See, but my thing is I think CocoScope and fans only are somewhat in that same realm of, they're looking for the same audience.
I was like, 1 second now. I thought, well, I just missed something. I just missed the point.
Yeah. You missed that one. Yeah, Blue's like, you what? You what? Yeah, girl. That's what they all want. Some of this.
Pour some more wine, girl. Wine.
She'll be all right. So yes, please join my CocoScope. I will add that link into the show notes later today, or after the show's over. I'll add that in there. Help me I want the channel to grow. I would love to again do some videos that I'm worried about putting on YouTube. I'd love to do some stuff like that. A lot of times I struggle on what do I want to do a video on to show people. I did that video today, like I said, about showing about adding add-ons, how to add an add-on. And for Ross, he asked me to do it. Fine, I'll do it. I saast that who was it? Blade kodi XML tutorials.
You've covered nearly every over the past 3 years. You've covered nearly every aspect of.
Nah. There's plenty of stuff I could. There's plenty of stuff I could do, but I don't want it. A lot of times, I don't want to cover shit that 100 people have already covered. To me, I want to niche. Hey, nobody's covered this. Let me talk about that. Nobody's talked about that. Let me talk about that. That's the videos I want to do. kodi XML tutorials. I'll be honest. I was messing around with some of that stuff. I don't. My interest isn't there no more. And that's just me being honest with you.
You don't get. You don't. That side's like.
It's not there. I mean, there's other guys that are doing really good videos on that kind of stuff. Shoot fire. Who was it that I was actually watching? He actually did some videos. I was actually watching one of his videos today. And I can't remember. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't subscribe to him. I should have. There's a guy that I was watching that was doing all kinds of kodi XMLs and changing skin XMLs. Do you remember who that was, Lee? Doing videos on that? I can't remember. Can't remember who it was.
I cannot.
But he's doing all kinds of XML changes.
Which country? UK or US?
He's American, I think. Husham. Oh my God. Husham is actually on CocoScope, but he does very few videos. If you watch it, he actually was the first person that posted about CocoScope, and I went to it. That was like last year when I first signed up. And I don't think he makes very many videos. And he's selling Android boxes now. That's his focus. Look at Cosmic's actually going to subscribe. Hey, again, Cosmic's been on the show. Welcome to join. You, Dan. Thank you, Blade.
Cosmic.
You can't understand him. You, Dan does a lot of videos on XMLs. You can't understand him. All right. Well, I'll have to look at some. I glanced through some of the stuff he did, and I thought that he was doing a good job on trying to explain things in a different way. So here's you, Dan. So what do you mean you can't understand? Look at it. He's right here watching the show. See, you, Dan, should have known that I was saying him. Hold on a second. Let me look up you, Dan, right now so I can add him. I thought I had subscribed, but maybe I didn't. Is it you, Dan channel? Let's see. You, Dan, post the link to your channel over here, and I'll allow it, because I don't. When I do a search for you, I don't see it. So it's got to be under some kind of weird name. So look we got old timers in here. Vaping Vessel and Cosmics, which Cosmics is an old fellow.
Cosmics. Is that the original Cosmics?
Yes, that's Cosmics. Yeah, he's been on the show. Yeah. Anytime he wants to come on the show, Vaping Vessel, you guys can come on the show anytime you want.
Cosmics. That's my favorite since 2016.
And it's been a while back. So I saw Aubin posted about something else that's happening this weekend. And that is the UFC fight. And did you see Dana White says he's going to stop all the streams this weekend, though? Did you see that? He said he's got a surprise for all the streamers.
Yeah, of course he has.
Well, wait, I think he said streamer. Didn't he say streamer? It was like
streamer. He's got his one eye, one pirate.
It was singular. It was a singular. He said, "Oh, I got a surprise for that streamer."
He called him a UFC pirate.
Yeah. So, UFC will be this weekend. Numerous add-ons will have it.
No, we're not allowed, because Dana White said we can't have it, so we're not doing it.
There's numerous add-ons are going to have it, but I would say that if you're watching from free links, there's only a matter of so many people can be on one free link, and when a free link gets put in an add-on, you think, well, this add-on, nobody knows about this link because it's only in this small add-on. Well, that add-on probably grabbed that link from someplace else, so just because only that one little add-on has it there's probably multiple add-ons or multiple places, websites that's linked to that same actual link. So what I'm saying is that if you're hoping to watch it free through just some add-on, good luck.
Good luck.
If you're gonna watch it through a paid TV service, fingers crossed. I've got 2 paid services, and I'm actually working to get a third because I just feel I'm having some people over, and I don't want to be looking like the fool come 11 o'clock at night. Not because I've been drinking too much, like look at Noir. Hey, I've been there. UFC 200. My house, not this house, my old house. I had a room full of people. No cord. They were no cord cutters. They were all cable satellite people. We're watching the UFC 200. We're drinking. Half of them were smoking pot. Most of them, but everybody was drinking. Some of them were passing around moonshine. And we're going to watch the main fight, and I'm using a stalker clone. And just to say, it didn't go so well. And all my non-cord cutting friends laughed their ass off at me because I'm using Stalker, and then I went through and I tried using Phoenix at that time. I'm doing all that stuff, and guess what? Not a damn thing worked.
You're sweating your tits off like in a cluster.
Yeah, and I'm like, normally it works fine, but yeah, and actually, one of my guys, every once in a while, I'll post something about the fights. And
that is good.
Oh yeah, I was at your place the last time we watched some fights.
That is the worst thing that can happen to you.
Yeah. I mean, by yourself is not a big deal. I ain't lying. There had to be 12 or 13 people in the house at that time. I mean, it was wrapped around the whole room at my house, and I'm fighting. It got to like the co-main event, and it started buffering and freezing, and I'm changing. So. Have yourself some backups, y'all.
I guess you're going back a few years now with the story there. Because
that's a lot back.
Live streams are a lot better now than they were 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, they are, but I would still have your options. I would early in the day or early in the evening, take a look at what add-ons are offering that, your certain add-ons, and bookmark that tab so that you can quickly jump from one to the other.
I've got two IPTV subs which I don't pay for.
Yeah.
But I find kodi links are better.
Sometimes. I mean,
I say 8 out of 10 times the
really?
links streams better, or they're ahead. Something like a delay. Like if you dare to jump on Twitter, someone's been knocked out. I ain't seen that video.
Yeah, don't look at Twitter. Don't watch Twitter during a fight.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because somebody paying for it is actually going to say something before you watch it.
You're still like, oh, that's not even happened yet. What's going on? Who's through?
Yeah, Vape and Vessel. You remember the original? Yeah, that was So he worked on that. So he worked on the original. Yeah, the original Stalker was great. Remember when they gave out all those free? They gave it out free for so long, but live and learn. But just be prepared, you guys. If you are wanting to watch it, a couple hours before the fights get kicked off, go ahead and take a look at who's offering those fights and add them to your favorites. Bookmark them. Go to that add-on, to that section, MMA. Sometimes you got to dig down into the add-on, and it'll be live fights or MMA. It'll be in a folder. Bookmark that folder and just add it to your favorites, so that when it comes time for the fights, you'll have all those in your favorites, and you can move from one to the other very seamlessly. If there's one that's not working, you back out and go to the next one. That one's not working, back out and do the next one. So just do a little work. Definitely, like I said, my services tend to do pretty well. I got 2, and like I said, I'm gonna get I'm in the process. I'll see about getting a third one just to have a backup, because there's gonna be people here, and I don't want to look like a fool because people seem to think I know what I'm talking about. They're my friends. I don't want bad rep, you know. Not with your friends, not with your friends you see on a regular basis. They're like, came to your place and damn fight didn't work. So good days. All right, so we got that going. That's about that. And there is a lot of stuff. I tend to stay away from the ones that advertise a lot, because to me, it's like they're painting a bullseye constantly, painting that bullseye, and it's like, in a matter of time, for them to get taken out. So the ones that I'll use, or you won't hear about them. So. All right, so that's all we got going. Again, Cosmics, Vape and Vessel. Any of you guys, telling you, hit me up. You guys know who I am. We're in numerous groups together. You can hit me on Keybase or anywhere else. Welcome to join. We can talk about old times. We can talk about new stuff going up. I know both of you guys tend to stay out of the kodi universe and stuff. Oh, look at Alban needs to be my co-host. Because we know what happens on Wednesdays. Player pass. Player pass. And guys, all right, so player pass. So next Wednesday, player pass. Roger picked Hancock. So you guys remember why did I want to say Bruce Willis? No. Hancock has
Hancock. Not hand.
Hancock.
You said Hancock.
You don't know what I'm saying.
You did say Hancock. I think that's like some rude movie, like some like spurious like spin-off. Hancock was with
See, I couldn't think of Will Smith. I was sitting there, I can't think of his damn name.
Yeah. Hancock.
Yeah, so we got Hancock. Yeah. And then we have Blue picked Searching for Bobby Fischer. So that is the 2 movies for this week. Please watch them. Join our show. It is no tech talk on that show. It is just talk about the movies. You like it, didn't like it, what didn't you like, what did you like or what didn't you like about the movie. It's fun. Good times. It's a fun, low stress show. We enjoy it. We have a lot of laughs. And we watched Wonder Woman. No Wonder Woman. I actually picked Wonder Woman, and I thought that someone might like it, but not a single person on the show liked it. So yeah,
I've seen the trailer for it. It doesn't look my cup of tea. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
It was terrible. Dabs drive-in. No thanks. So we got that going. So look, in Alban, show off because you're retired, so you don't really count. Does that really count? He's retired. He has nothing but time. So yeah, he's watched both of his movies already.
Todd, have you watched the film Legend, the English movie?
Legend in English? I saw I Am Legend.
Todd Hardy. Tom Hardy plays both roles of the Kray brothers, the legendary like gangsters.
I think so. They were like the gangsters in London, and they were like 2 brothers that started off. And
yeah, but there's quite a few versions of it. There's the original, which is quite dark. But then Tom Hardy.
This is recent.
Yeah, Tom Hardy played 4 years ago. He played both brothers in the same film.
Oh, both. I mean, the name that sounds.
He was the one in this series called.
Well, I know who Tom Hardy is. 2015. Okay. Yeah, I got him. I think I saw this. It's a pretty violent movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's pretty violent. Yeah, I remember seeing this. Legend. Yep, 2015. Yeah, and it's based on a true story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, because he plays Reggie Kray and Ron Kray.
He plays both. They're twins. He plays both of them at the same time. Like it's very clever.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. I may go back and watch that. But yeah, I remember watching it. Like I said, it was pretty violent, and I didn't need the subtitles for that one. Some of those movies that people see,
We're
I
not
need
French.
subtitles.
We're English. We're not French.
I don't care. Some of the accents are so thick. I'm like, what did he just say? I don't know. So yeah, I'll check that out again. I did watch that when it first came out. I do remember once I saw the poster for it. I definitely saw it. So we got that. That's all I have written down for my news for the week. I'm not going to go through. I have a whole list of other things that, whatever. So I'll hit you up, Vape. I'll hit you up on Twitter.
Oh, darling. No worries. I'll see you in a minute, yeah?
Oh, what? You talking to me?
I thought you was talking to me.
Oh, no. Vaping hit me and said,
I'm joking.
Look at Blue's not around. You're hitting on me. That's because you saw me dancing. That's what it was. You saw me dancing. It got you, Lila. You're like, dang, he got some moves. You saw my PD Pablo. Oh yeah, and hey, it's a good time. That was Did you see the surprise on her face?
I saw lots on her face. Not just a smile.
Yeah, she was laughing. It was fun. It was a good time. So, all right, Noir, got anything you want to say before we roll out of here? We're gonna cut out. We're at 2 hours.
I just want to say, like, stay safe. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, good. So look at Lisa, he doing the Hancock. I guess that would have. All right, so I just want to say thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for Lee for jumping on here with me to hang out. I want to thank Tyler, the antenna man, for coming on. And I know that my channel dwarfs compared to his, and he comes on here to share some knowledge. I'm incredibly thankful that he's willing to come on the show. I have a couple other big YouTuber guys that I respect their work. I would love for them to come on the show, share some of their knowledge, because I don't only just do stuff for YouTube. I actually watch a lot of YouTubers. I'm watching a lot of other people and what they're doing, and I respect their work. So maybe I'll get some of these other guys to jump on here and show you guys some of the things that some of my other interests. And that's all I got. Watch Wednesday, and we've got Hancock, and we've got Searching for Bobby Fischer, and we'll see that next week. And again, thanks for Tyler, and thanks to Mr. Noir. And you know what? Streaming matters to us because streaming matters to y'all. Y'all.